What's up, everyone? Welcome to ClearTalk. It's fire pit time again. In this video, we are going to be talking about the House bill and Trump's, continued threats to not sign it, and trying to pressure not signing it to get the SAVE Act passed. So we're going to talk about this and what does that actually mean? Does it matter? So thank you very much for joining me, and if you are new to the channel, welcome. If you'd like to check out more from this channel or any of my other channels, check out the links in the description. If you would like to support the channel in any kind of way, there's Patreon there, $2. You can support any of the channels you would like, and there's also merch. You can check out the merch link, merch for every single channel. There's a discount for the merch if you're a Patreon member. So yeah, any support you give is very much appreciated, and thank you very much. And if you like to subscribe and comment, all that good stuff for those channels, that would be amazing. All that is free for you and it helps out the channels tremendously. And if you're returning, you're freaking amazing. Welcome, and keep coming back, because you're what makes JMD Nation. Alright, so the housing bill. This is a bill that, for all purposes, intents and purposes, is not a bad bill. It's sort of a small step in improving the housing issue, but nevertheless it is a positive step for the most part. It's an overall decent bill, surprisingly. Again, does it address all the major problems, and does it really solve the housing crisis? No, not in any real way. But nevertheless, this had overwhelming support. Yeah, overwhelming support. Because doing the minimal is what Congress is really good at. But overwhelming support from both parties in both houses, House and Senate. So overwhelming support that it doesn't even really need, it is veto proof and doesn't even need the president to sign the bill. But Trump is actually is out here saying that he's canceling the signing of this bill, and he's not going to sign it until the Congress passes the Save America Act. As if this is going to really stop the bill from happening. As he's holding it hostage, which is weird. Because if he knows, because here's the thing, it's either he knows that this is just a complete bullshit act on his part, or he thinks that his followers are so stupid that they will believe that he can actually hold this up and this is going to help get the Save America Act passed. I don't understand it. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference, because whether he signs it or not within 10 days, as long as Congress stays in session, it's going to pass anyways. It will be as if it were signed. So it doesn't really matter if he doesn't sign it. It's again, as long as Congress stays in session. Now, if they cut session short, then it can hold it up, and it could potentially be falling into this weird veto situation on Congress's part and have to go through again. But as long as Congress stays in session, it doesn't even matter if he doesn't sign it. It will still go into play. Now, he can veto it and hold it up further. That just means it will go back to Congress and have to be voted on again. And as long as it passes again, then it's the same thing. You could have, as long as they pass it again, then it doesn't even need to be signed, or it can't be vetoed again. Because if they approve it, it's approved and it's done. So it doesn't really even matter. This whole, I'm holding it hostage. I'm not, you know. And the simple fact that you are holding up improving the housing situation just so you can get your election rigging passed is crazy to me. You're going to not support, not allow for improvement in the housing situation that so many people, millions of people in the United States have, you know, issue with. Can't afford housing, has problems getting financed for housing, all this kind of, like, you know, and this is not even just like buying a house. This is also issues around rent and landlord and like corporations owning homes and restricting them, and I mean, there's several facets to this housing bill that is like, again, it's an improvement. It doesn't fix the problem, but it's an improvement, because Congress is clearly incapable of actually fixing things. They just sort of put band-aids on shit. So he's holding something hostage that's good for Americans just to get his election rigging passed. And that's exactly what the Save America Act is. It's election rigging. It's trying to force on a voter ID restriction to elections that would make it difficult for a lot of Americans to try to get that ID around, you know, and trying to fit within these framework of an ID. No, but the biggest issue, I think, even more so than the ID, is the mail-in ballot restrictions. They're trying to flat out restrict mail-in ballots all across the country, from even being a thing outside of like disability, military, stuff like that. They're just trying to make it to where you can't just do a mail-in ballot because you don't want to go to the voting poll, or whatever. Like, where there are some states that have majority mail-in ballot because people just don't do that. They don't go to the polling places anymore. And I mean, I don't understand the problem here, really, at all. You're just trying, but the fact is that mail-in ballot overwhelmingly leans Democratic. And so they know if they can restrict mail-in balloting as much as possible, then they're suppressing the Democrat vote as much as they possibly can, because they know that they have made it hard as hell in districts all across the country, especially in red states, to actually go to voting polls. Limiting voting polls, making it more crowded, making it, you know, have to stay in line longer. And these are predominantly done in Democratic districts. This is the voter restriction suppression that they've been working on and doing for decades now. And they've really buckled in on it very heavily over the past 10 years or so. Restricting. And then on top of that, you have the district remapping in the South that's happening, trying to cut voting more and more, and trying to cut representation more and more. There is so much going on with elections right now that the Trump administration is doing everything they can to suppress the vote. It is insane, all the avenues that they are trying to take. And this is just another one. It's him trying his best to try to force through the SAVE Act, but he is being met with opposition within his own party. That's who's holding this up is the Senate. And John Thune of all, I mean, I have to sort of give him some kudos here, that he is not buckling and not pressing Senate Republicans to go along with this. It's pretty interesting to see this, these further cracks within the Republican Party, at least when it comes to the Senate versus Trump and the administration. But other avenues are still in force. You still have the concern over ICE and DHS being sent to polling places ahead of the election. The administration sent letters to, I know here recently, to Michigan, to 3 districts in Michigan that are, again, mostly Democratic districts, but kind of are, they could flip-flop potentially, but arguing that they're going to send voter poll like people there to monitors to try to monitor the system, the voting going on in those districts. And there's already been, and the concern here is the threat of how much they are going to try to intervene in the voting. And the Attorney General in Michigan's already come out stating that it's perfectly fine for you to send monitors here, but if they are make any kind of attempt to interfere with our elections, we will take the proper steps to uphold our elections here in the state. I mean, you constantly have the administration pressing states to hand over their voter rolls, doing this election process that they where they are skirting through the rolls and trying to eliminate people off the rolls and then sending them back approved rolls, where they basically will take, say, a person, look for a dead name, somebody who is no longer living, and then they turn around and take that name, and just everybody that's on that name, that has that name on the roll, they just eliminate it all. Even if they're alive or not, even if they're a citizen or not, they just eliminate it, and then basically you wind up with a situation that goes back to the state, and the state's go like, but these are legitimate people. Why are you trying to eliminate them off the rolls? And which would force them to have to re-register. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then now, since the Supreme Court has given more executive power in his ability to fire members of different agencies and stuff that are under the executive purview, just without cause. After that happened, the Trump administration has now fired the remaining 3 members of the U.S. Elections Association Committee, which is a committee that is made up to try to help provide guidelines and stuff, basic guidelines for election integrity, election process to the states. Again, the federal government does not control the election process, the states do, but there are like base rules and guidelines that each state must at least uphold, and then they can do other things on their own. So here's the concern there, is that he has fired the remaining members of that committee in a way that now he can turn around and put who he wants to there, to then suggest rules and regulations and guidelines around elections how he wants them. And so now there's a concern of the interference from that side of the federal government, how they are going to try to press any new rules or adjustments and changes to guidelines around elections that's going to interfere and cause confusion or issues on state levels in trying to adhere or even potentially argue against those guidelines, overstep, which would then be, I would assume, thrown into a court issue. And this is all ahead when we're only a few months out from November elections, from midterm elections. The lengths that this administration is going to cause all kinds of confusion and issues around this election is crazy. And on top of that, now there's the even concern around the escalation again of the war on Iran, that this is just going to be another avenue that if they can't get any other actual control and suppression of the vote, if they can't actually control elections through all these other means, that they are going to press and push and continue this war all the way up to elections, so that they can try to argue, well, we can't have elections in the middle of a war. So there's that concern. There's so much going on right now with our election process and the rigging, the attempted rigging that is going on by the Republican Party is so blatant and out there in front of your face to see. They're not even trying to hide it. They're doing every avenue possible, and still, even with it blatantly there, there's no denying that they are attempting everything they can to suppress and rig the election. MAGA supporters are still all up on it. Like, yes, please rig it for us, because we want to stay in power. Rig it for us, like, weren't you just 5 minutes ago arguing that Democrats rig it, and now you're arguing for you to rig it? The continued, like, because you do it, we can do it thing. Their argument that somebody else, their opposition, is doing it, so that makes it okay for them to do it. It is absolutely nuts. There's no, like, integrity here. That's not showing integrity. That's not showing example. All right, it's just showing that you're willing to be just as corrupt. I mean, if you're arguing that the Democratic Party is corrupt and evil, and is the ones that are always, rigging shit and whatever, and that you are the upholded, you are the party that upholds integrity and upholds, the right things to do, but then you turn around and rig, then you're no better. You're just actually arguing that you are the same. So why trust you either? I mean, seriously, why would anybody trust you when you are openly asking to rig elections? Like so now the question is, okay, if all of the argument that you have around the Democratic Party is being, a rigged, corrupt party, and then now you are openly rigged and corrupt and frauded, and I mean, then now we have, now you're making it assured that both parties are rigged and corrupt. So now nobody can be trusted. I mean, it is absolutely nuts. The amount of protection and defense and, like, argumentation around, we can do it because you do it. Like, what? No, that's not, that doesn't make you, two wrongs don't make a right. All right, isn't that the core principle there? The two wrongs do not make a right. Isn't that what we were taught and brought up? So yeah, this is all concerning, but nevertheless, trying to hold up this House bill to try to press through the SAVE Act is just really stupid. It makes Trump either look like a moron, or that he just openly knows that this is bullshit, and he just thinks that his supporters are stupid enough to believe him to go along with it. like, and that added, that will add some pressure to Congress to pass it. The Congress is not stupid. They might be, they might not be willing to actually help people out sometimes, but they're not stupid. Especially the Senate. Now there might be some stupid members. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the whole collective is not stupid. There certainly are some ignorant, moronic, like, members, single members in the House and Senate. But the whole collective is not stupid. They know the rules. They know the policy. They know how this works, and your argument, they know your argument is invalid. They know that it's not a threat. It's an empty threat. So, anyways, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. We are, if I'm hoping that especially in Democrat states and Democrat districts, that there are, leadership, AGs and judges and lawyers and election officials, all prepared for every avenue that this administration is going to attempt and try to do to suppress and cause issues and havoc and question around the November elections. I certainly hope that they are prepared, because they are going to do everything they can to argue some discrepancy, some conflict, some corruption, some illegitimacy to this election process in all of these different locations. If not just outright try to prevent people from voting. I hope Congress, especially the Senate, particularly, calls Trump's bluff. Like, go ahead, yeah, don't sign it. It's no problem. Don't sign it. As a matter of fact, don't even worry about vetoing it, because we're going to pass it again with flying colors, and it's not going to even matter. I hope they call their bluff and they uphold their standing against the SAVE Act. I mean, the House is like, they're like gone. Like, there's a good argument that almost half of the House is just complete morons. But at least the Senate tries to uphold some kind of integrity, and way more reasonable and mature about all of this. And that's that's one good thing right now, trying to keep some sort of integrity around this whole thing. So anyways, thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, peace. Let me know what you think. All right, and till next time, peace. JMD, ClearTalk, I'm out.